Actually, it brings it to another thing I wanted to ask you about performance reviews and giving feedback on time, and obviously constant feedback with your, employees and colleagues, and
Yep.
always tell them about things. But not always you find the time to give like a kind of a zoomed out feedback, right? It's typically like the things of the day, the things of the week. How do you find the time without having it like this ramp up of a performance review, and maybe some like practical tips to make it more natural maybe?
Let me ask you, I mean, what do you do for performance reviews now?
We don't really do anything, but I felt that as we grow maybe that's something we need to do.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think what's the best way to do it without creating some tension or creating some unnecessary formality. So that's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah. So here's what I think. I basically hate performance reviews. I think they're manufactured. It's like a report card. First off, they happen annually typically, which is a really odd cycle, and they tend to be reflective of your performance over the last 3 weeks before the performance review happens. If they're tied to compensation, people take a completely different attitude due to their incentives around it. There's a lot of with the peer review stuff, there's a lot of you give me a good review, I give you a good review kind of bullshit that goes on. I also don't like it because it slows things down. And I don't feel that I should have to wait a year to tell you that you're
Right.
fucking something up. Frankly, we should make sure that you know immediately so that you can correct the behavior. And that's good for you. Like, if you're not doing well, we should tell you right away. Why are we
Right.
going to wait? So I basically encourage, and I don't hold performance reviews, I don't do them. I actively manage people basically in real time. And the other thing about management I'll say is that I don't even have a lot of I don't even really like a lot of managers. I think everyone at the company reports to me. I can have 50 direct reports. That's easy. And I don't do one-on-ones. There's no if you need to talk to me, come talk to me. And Jensen Huang, I think I said, hey, I don't do one-on-ones. And then everyone said, Howard, you're insane. You're a bad manager. And then he said it, and everyone thinks it's this like genius idea. I took a lot of heat for basically calling off one-on-ones 5 years ago. And now it's like the new way. And if you have 12 direct reports and you do an hour with them each week, you spent 12 hours on one-on-ones. And that's not even the worst of it. The worst of it is that they end up like therapy sessions where people like think that something's wrong and then you talk to them about it. And like, I'm not a therapist. Like, I also don't think there's a whole lot of things that should be talked about with only one person's benefit. If we're going to talk about things, we should bring the other people along. So I like to have shared solutions and bring other people along. It doesn't mean that I don't have private conversations occasionally, but those should be ad hoc and infrequent, not the standing course of how you do business. I'll talk to someone about stuff, but generally speaking, if we're brainstorming business stuff, let's get the whole team that's working on that involved so they can be part of the discussion.
I see. And so you say this kind of incremental feedback, constant, is sufficient in that regard to provide this alignment with the team and making sure everyone understands each other, etc.
That's my personal view. I also think a lot of companies have these performance reviews for like kind of other reasons, like legal reasons, and they're just not like actually what the company needs, especially a startup. Like I can see why I keep bringing up Procter and Gamble. Dell Computer needs to have a performance management file for every one of their
Yeah.
86,000 employees. But when we're running startups of even like only up to 500 or 1,000 people, I don't really believe that there needs to be an annual performance review process.
So even when you had a public company, it didn't hold any of those
We did
performance.
it. We did it, and I thought it was terrible, and I don't think it was effective. And we only did it because it was checking the box to say we did it.
And how would you do it next time when it's public?
Oh, we're not going to do it. I also think AI is going to replace a lot of this.
How?
Well, I think AI can just basically monitor stuff and give you quick feedback. Think of an AI manager just getting summaries for people. I see no reason to provide people with an official thing every year when you could get continuous kind of help.